Hello, everyone. Welcome to the English Learner Podcast. I'm Anna, and I'm here with Tom. And if you want to feel more confident talking about real-life choices in English, make sure you subscribe so you can practice with us every day.
Hi everyone, I'm Tom. We talk about daily situations in simple conversations, and subscribing helps you improve step by step and make better decisions in English.
Today, we're talking about making decisions because we make small and big decisions every day.
Some decisions are simple, like choosing what to eat or what to wear.
Other decisions are bigger, like choosing a school, a job, or how to spend your time.
Talking about decisions in English helps you explain your thoughts clearly.
One common phrase is, I need to decide, which you can use in many situations.
For example, I need to decide what to eat for lunch.
Another useful phrase is, I'm not sure yet, when you still need time.
This phrase sounds natural and honest.
You can also say, I'm thinking about it.
This shows you are considering your options.
A good speaking activity is to talk about one small decision you made today.
This morning, I decided to wake up early.
Another useful expression is, I made up my mind, which means you decided.
For example, I made up my mind to study English tonight.
This phrase is very common in daily conversations.
Another natural way to talk about decisions is using maybe or probably.
Maybe I'll go out later, or I'll probably stay home.
These words make your speech sound relaxed.
Another habit is explaining reasons simply.
You can say because or so to explain your choice.
I chose this class because it's interesting.
A speaking activity is to explain a decision using one simple reason.
Another tip is talking about advice from others.
My friend suggested, or my teacher advised me to.
This helps you talk about influence and opinions.
Another useful phrase is, it depends.
You can say, it depends on the weather, or it depends on my schedule.
This phrase is very natural in decision-making.
Another way to sound natural is talking about pros and cons simply.
It's cheaper, but it's far.
This shows thinking clearly.
A speaking activity is to compare two choices with one good point and one bad point.
Another common phrase is, I'll go with this, meaning you choose something.
For example, I'll go with the blue shirt.
This sounds very natural in conversation.
Making decisions in English becomes easier with practice.
Talking about your choices helps build confidence.
Over time, you'll feel more comfortable expressing decisions in English.
Another way to talk about decisions is sharing when you feel unsure.
You can say, I'm having trouble deciding, or I can't decide yet.
These phrases are very natural in daily life.
For example, I'm having trouble deciding what movie to watch.
A speaking activity is to talk about a choice you couldn't decide quickly.
I couldn't decide between studying or resting.
Another useful phrase is, I changed my mind, which means you decided again.
For example, I changed my mind and stayed home.
This phrase is common and easy to use.
Another natural habit is asking for advice before deciding.
You can ask, what do you think? Or what would you do?
These questions invite opinions.
A role-play activity is to ask a friend for advice about a simple decision.
Another phrase is, I have to choose between.
I have to choose between coffee and tea.
This is useful for comparing options.
Another natural way to explain decisions is talking about feelings.
I felt nervous, so I waited.
Feelings are often part of decisions.
A speaking activity is to describe how you felt before making a decision.
Another phrase is, in the end, which means the final decision.
In the end, I decided to try.
This sounds natural when telling a story.
Another habit is talking about decisions in the future.
I'm planning to decide tomorrow.
This helps talk about time.
A speaking activity is to talk about a decision you will make soon.
Another phrase is, I went for it, meaning you decided to try.
I was scared, but I went for it.
This phrase sounds confident.
Another useful expression is, I'll think it over.
This means you need more time.
A role-play activity is to delay a decision politely.
Let me think it over and tell you later. Another natural habit is reflecting after deciding.
You can say, it was a good decision, or I regret that decision.
This helps talk about results.
A speaking activity is to talk about one decision you feel good about.
Another phrase is, I didn't have a choice.
This means the decision was forced.
I didn't have a choice, so I accepted.
Another way to sound natural is talking about small daily choices.
Even simple decisions help practice English.
Talking about decisions every day builds confidence.
The more you practice, the easier decision-making in English becomes.
Making decisions is something we do every day, so it's a great topic to practice real English.
When you talk about decisions, people want to hear not only what you chose, but also how you felt.
One easy way to start is saying, I had to decide.
For example, I had to decide between two jobs.
This sounds very natural in daily conversations.
You can also say, I had no choice.
I had no choice, so I accepted the offer.
That phrase shows the situation clearly.
Another common expression is, in the end.
In the end, I chose the simpler option.
This is perfect when you tell a story.
You can also use at first.
At first, I wanted to quit,
Then you add a change.
but later I changed my mind.
These phrases help your story feel complete.
Sometimes we ask other people before deciding.
You can say, I asked for advice,
I asked my friend for advice.
or I talked it over with my family.
This sounds very natural and polite.
Another useful phrase is, I wasn't confident.
I wasn't confident about my decision.
This shows honest feelings.
You can also say, I trusted my feeling.
Or, I followed my heart.
These are common in spoken English.
A good speaking activity is to talk about a decision you regret.
You can explain what happened and what you learned.
Another activity is to give advice to someone who can't decide.
For example, if I were you, I would wait.
Or, you should think about the future.
These phrases are useful for helping others.
We also talk about small decisions.
I decided what to eat for lunch.
Or, I chose to wake up early.
Small decisions are easy practice.
Another phrase you can use is, it depends.
It depends on the situation.
This shows flexibility.
You can also say, I weighed the options.
That means you thought carefully.
This phrase sounds more advanced, but still natural.
A fun activity is to compare two choices out loud.
Talk about the good and bad sides.
This helps you speak longer without stopping.
Another natural phrase is, I thought it through.
I thought it through before deciding.
This shows careful thinking.
Another tip is explaining what influenced your choice.
I chose this because my friend recommended it.
Or, I decided based on the reviews I read online.
You can practice by telling a mini story about a choice and what influenced it.
Another useful habit is describing alternative choices.
I could have chosen A, but I went with B instead.
This shows you considered options carefully.
Another way to sound natural is talking about small mistakes during decisions.
I chose the wrong route and got lost, but I learned something.
A speaking activity is to share a funny mistake you made while deciding.
Another tip is using maybe and probably when unsure.
Maybe I'll go for a walk later.
I'll probably stay home tonight.
These phrases make your English sound relaxed and real.
Another natural habit is telling a story with multiple steps.
First, I checked the weather. Then I looked at my schedule. Finally, I decided to go to the park.
A speaking activity is to explain a three-step decision you made today.
Another useful phrase is, I couldn't decide between.
I couldn't decide between pizza and noodles, so I flipped a coin.
This shows real-life problem solving and makes your story interesting.
Another activity is to role-play making a choice with a friend using real options.
Should we watch a movie or play a game?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
Another natural habit is describing feelings before deciding.
I felt nervous, but I tried my best.
I was excited but also worried about making the wrong choice.
A speaking activity is to describe how you felt during one important decision today.
Another useful phrase is, I went for it.
I was scared, but I went for it anyway.
This sounds confident and natural in conversation.
Another habit is explaining results of decisions.
It turned out well, or I regret it a little.
These phrases are very common in everyday conversation.
Another speaking activity is to share a decision that turned out good and one that didn't.
You can also practice asking someone about their choices.
What did you decide? Or how did you choose?
This keeps conversations flowing naturally.
Another tip is talking about lessons learned from decisions.
I learned that planning ahead helps me decide better.
I realized that sometimes small decisions can make a big difference.
A role-play activity is to tell a friend a lesson from a past choice.
Another natural habit is mixing small and big decisions in a story.
I chose what to eat for lunch, and later I decided which course to study next semester.
This shows variety and keeps your English real.
Another tip is using I'm thinking about for future decisions.
I'm thinking about trying a new hobby this weekend.
This helps you talk about plans naturally.
Making decisions is not just grammar, it's also expressing thoughts, feelings, and reasoning.
The more you practice talking about daily choices, big or small, the more natural your English becomes.
Sometimes making decisions is really hard, especially when there are many options.
Yes, and one useful phrase is, I couldn't make up my mind.
I couldn't make up my mind between two movies, so I waited until later.
You can practice by talking about a time you couldn't decide quickly.
Another way to sound natural is sharing small daily choices.
I decided what to eat for breakfast this morning.
Or I chose which book to read tonight.
These small decisions help you practice English every day.
Another useful phrase is I finally decided.
I finally decided to join the English club.
This shows the decision took some time.
Another tip is telling why you made the decision.
I finally decided to join the English club because my friends recommended it.
You can also say, I chose it because it seemed fun.
Explaining reasons makes your English sound natural.
Another natural habit is using expressions for thinking before deciding.
I thought about it for a while.
I considered all the options carefully.
A speaking activity is to share one decision you thought about for a long time.
Another tip is using feelings when talking about choices.
I felt nervous before deciding which course to take.
I was excited but also worried about making the wrong choice.
Talking about feelings makes your story more real.
Another useful phrase is, I took a chance.
I wasn't sure, but I took a chance and joined the club.
This phrase shows courage.
Another natural habit is reflecting on the result.
It turned out well.
I regret it a little, but I learned something.
Another activity is to share a decision that worked out and one that didn't.
Another tip is asking others for advice.
What would you do?
Do you think this is a good idea?
Role play with a friend asking for advice.
Another phrase is, I changed my mind.
I planned to go shopping, but I changed my mind and stayed home.
You can also say, I went back and forth.
I went back and forth between studying and resting.
This shows indecision.
Another tip is using comparisons when making choices.
Option A is cheaper, but option B is closer.
Or, this shirt is prettier, but that one is more comfortable.
A speaking activity is to compare two choices and explain pros and cons.
Another natural habit is using maybe and probably when unsure.
Maybe I'll watch a movie tonight.
I'll probably cook dinner later.
These phrases sound casual and real.
Another tip is telling a story step by step.
First, I looked at my schedule, then I checked the weather. Finally, I decided to go for a walk.
A speaking activity is to explain a 3-step decision you made today.
Another phrase is, I wasn't sure at first.
I wasn't sure at first, but then I tried.
You can also say, I thought it over.
I thought it over before replying.
Another natural habit is using casual expressions. I went for it. I'm leaning toward this, or I might just choose that.
These phrases make your English sound like a real conversation.
Another tip is using mistakes naturally.
I chose the blue shirt.
Laughing at small mistakes is part of learning and makes your conversation friendly.
Another activity is to tell a funny or small mistake you made while deciding.
Another way to sound natural is using questions to involve someone else. What would you do? Or which one would you pick?
This keeps the conversation flowing.
Another tip is reflecting on lessons learned from decisions.
I realized that planning ahead helps me make better choices.
I learned that small decisions can make a big difference.
Another role-play activity is to share a lesson from a past choice with a friend.
Another natural habit is mixing big and small decisions in stories.
I chose what to eat for lunch, and later, I decided which course to take next semester.
This keeps your conversation realistic.
Another tip is describing future decisions.
I'm thinking about trying a new hobby this weekend.
I haven't decided yet, but I'm leaning toward going hiking.
Another speaking activity is to talk about a decision you will make soon and why.
Another natural habit is using short reactions while speaking.
Wow, really? Or no way.
These small reactions make your speech lively and natural.
Finally, practicing all these habits every day makes talking about decisions in English easy, confident, and natural.
Another important tip is reflecting on past decisions and talking about what you learned.
For example, I learned that thinking carefully before deciding helps me avoid mistakes.
You can also say, I realize that asking for advice is very useful.
A speaking activity is to share one decision from last week and the lesson you learned.
Another natural habit is describing decisions with feelings.
I was nervous, but I decided to join the club anyway.
Or, I felt excited, so I tried something new.
Talking about feelings makes your story sound realistic and relatable.
Another tip is explaining how small decisions affect bigger ones.
I decided to wake up early, and that helped me finish homework faster.
You can also say, choosing a healthy snack helped me feel better all day.
Another speaking activity is to talk about one small choice that changed your day.
Another useful phrase is, I'm leaning toward, when you haven't fully decided.
I'm leaning toward studying tonight instead of watching TV.
Another tip is describing decisions under time pressure.
I had only 5 minutes to decide, so I chose quickly.
A role-play activity is to pretend you have limited time and make a decision naturally.
Another natural habit is sharing decisions with friends or family.
I told my friend I decided to try a new hobby.
You can also ask, do you want to hear what I chose?
This keeps the conversation friendly and interactive.
Another tip is explaining why you didn't choose another option.
I didn't pick the red shirt because it was too big.
I didn't go to the park because it started raining.
Talking about alternatives makes your English more complete.
Another natural habit is mixing small and big decisions in one story.
I chose what to eat for lunch, and later I decided on my weekend plan.
Another useful phrase is, I took my time.
I took my time to think, and then I made the best choice.
A speaking activity is to share a decision you took time to think about.
Another tip is sharing advice with someone.
If I were you, I would try it.
You should think carefully before deciding.
Another activity is to give advice about a simple choice to a friend.
Another natural habit is reacting to others' decisions.
Good choice, or that sounds like a smart decision.
I would have done the same.
These reactions make conversations lively.
Another tip is using I went for it to show confidence in your choice.
I was nervous, but I went for it and it worked out.
Another speaking activity is to share a story where you took a risk and succeeded.
Another natural habit is sharing your future decisions.
I'm planning to study harder next week.
I'm thinking about joining a new class soon.
This helps talk about upcoming choices naturally.
Another tip is telling mini stories with multiple decisions.
I woke up early, decided to go jogging, and then chose to meet my friend for breakfast.
This makes your English feel real and connected.
Another habit is sharing lessons from your choices.
I learned that small decisions can make a big difference.
I realized that asking advice helps me make better choices.
Another activity is to tell a story with at least 3 decisions and what you learned.
And finally, if you enjoyed practicing English with us today, don't forget to share this podcast with your friends, classmates, or family. Leave a comment telling us which decision tip helped you most, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Sharing helps others practice English, commenting lets you try expressing your thoughts, and subscribing keeps you motivated to improve every day.
Thank you so much for listening. Keep practicing talking about your decisions, try all the activities we mentioned, share your stories, and we'll see you in the next episode on the English Learner Podcast.